$100, you can't get it. Because government are spending a lot of money for supporting the rice farmers. That's why they are be able to farm, to cultivate a lot of rice from the farm. So the same thing with oil.
Yeah, but the man in Benue State will tell you that it's not getting subsidy from government in terms of farming of yam, and same thing with the baggy man in Niger, and of course those in Taraba. They'll tell you they have not seen anything as per subsidy.
Yes, they cannot see that. They cannot see directly. But if today the what do you call it, fertilizer that you will buy, government subsidize the fertilizer, this means that you have got the subsidy, whether you know or you don't know.
Whether you buy or you
whether
don't
you,
no,
if you didn't buy, then how will you farm without getting?
People do without fertilizer.
So when they are using manure,
there are those that cannot access it.
Yes. So if you didn't, that one is not the fault of the government. This means that this thing has been put in place.
Okay, comrade, you said it is the right of the citizens to enjoy this subsidy.
Yes.
Okay, what would you say to those who are saying that it is the right step in the right direction? That it's
what
it
happened?
Is a long time coming.
What happened? Really, what happened in the area of oil subsidy? Everybody knows. Even those ones that they are not in Nigeria, they know that there is a lot of scam. There's a lot of fraud in the subsidy. So, based on that, I think the labor union, there's a certain agreement that reached with the federal government many years back that our refineries has to come to a function. Those are our 4 refineries. And then government has to build a new refineries to complement those ones. From there, remove the subsidy. Why are we saying subsidy? Because at all the time, we are not referring the fuel that we're supposed to use. That's why after exporting the crude oil, then we brought in the refined product. So if government failed to build a refinery
over the years,
then it is the fault of the government or the fault of the citizen. So government has to bear it. Government has to bear it. When you cannot build a refinery, employ your citizen, you are taking your employment outside, then you blame the citizen, because this is their right to enjoy that subsidy, because they are the citizens of this country. You cannot go to outside Nigeria and say that you want to enjoy. No, when you go there, you have to abide by the rules and the regulations. But this is your country. This is where you have your all right that you have to enjoy as a citizen of the country. As you cannot buy, you cannot go to Japan and then buy a car in Japan the same rate that you buy it in Nigeria. Then you cannot compare the fuel that you buy in Nigeria, because this is what we have. You cannot compare that.
You can buy same grade in Japan.
You can buy,
so long as you have the money.
You can buy the same grade,
so long as
but you cannot get it in the same price.
No, of course. It's when the quality is not the same. I mean, it's like you want to buy a Mercedes car and a Volkswagen car. It's like you want to buy Bentley now. That's a hybrid of Mercedes.
Yes.
Or you want to buy Lexus, the hybrid of Toyota.
Yes.
Or you want to buy Acura, the hybrid of Honda. They're not the same.
It depends on their categories. That one, they're not the same. But what I'm saying, if this is a Honda, maybe 2012, no 2019, that you buy it in Japan, and then you cannot buy the same that 2019 in Nigeria with the same amount, because you import it from Japan to Nigeria. So the same thing, that the oil that we have, we cannot compare our price with the foreign price, because this is Nigeria and then that's the Japan. So that's what I'm saying. As a Nigeria, whatever be the cost, we must enjoy our subsidy.
So if I understand you correctly, you're saying that Nigerians are being made to suffer for what the government didn't do.
Yes.
Over the years.
Is that what you're implying?
Yes.
No, I don't think government wants Nigerians to suffer. it is just opening, some say is, this government particularly is enlightening Nigerians to the fact that this issue should have been done and dusted many years ago. We have this product, for example, when we were buying for 194, it means government is paying, when you pay 194 naira, government is paying 342 naira for you because it's 537. So when you remove 194, you have 342. So if you pay 194, government pays 342 naira for you.
Then, if you ask the question, how do we arrive in that price, in that 537?
So the Melekari has to explain because it has been.
Yes,
yes. He
needs
to explain that
because what
it's a question that many people are asking.
Yes, because
how did you
we must ask,
at it?
how do you arrive in that figure? Because all what we know, they are talking about the landing cost. This landing cost, as a Nigerian, is not our problem. What we are saying, refine this product here in Nigeria.
But you don't have the capacity to refine.
Why don't we have the capacity? We don't have our how many engineers that at all we did petrochemical engineering and so on and so forth, that every year we have been graduating them. Then what is the need of graduating engineers without putting them into practice? We have the refineries. And then we are talking of the, now Dangote has built refinery, we are talking about $19 billion. Then the turnaround
about
of
$13 billion.
13. Then we are talking of the turnaround maintenance. Turnaround maintenance for those years now is more than the money that the Dangote spent to build.
What we need is about 2.8 billion for turnaround maintenance.
When you look at it, it's too exorbitant.
Okay, now that we have the situation now, and TUC is demanding for a review of minimum wage, do you think, would you say that will take care of the problem?
If you look at minimum wage, that's not the only problem of the labor. How many people are collecting salaries?
Okay.
How many Nigerians are employed to collect a salary? What of those ones that they are not collecting salary? How do they survive? How do they survive? That's the questions.
So even the wage increase for those that are with the government, it's for those that are with the government.
Not
what
for
about
private
those
sector.
for private sector?
Then what is those for? Even the private sector, how those private sector can survive? When you look at the change, when you look at the amounts,
Renewed hope.
Just particular. And then if you look at it, we know there is a problem that happened somewhere. When Lamido Sinusi was a governor of Central Bank, he raised alarm. And then when he raised that alarm, that some certain amount of money that after being exporting the crude oil is not coming back to the account of the government. Up to now, what is there any reasonable step that government has taken to make sure that they have stopped all those things? And then the Central Bank of Nigeria, there must be a total reshufflement from Central Bank and the NNPC.
You mean the workers should be sacked?
Yes.
Why?
So if now we are not getting the results, are they continue to be there for the interest of Nigeria? No.
Yeah, but you can give them an ultimatum. You can tweak their modus operandi. You can give them a new mode of operation.
Okay, now what's the new mode of operation that has been given to them? So if you look at it, if there is no any mode of operation, if they have been there for years, I think they have enough. They can go arrest. So that let's have a new blood, so that government will give a directive, and then the directive will be obeyed. Because somebody that has been there for 30, 20 years, accumulating a wealth, just one day you can't change it. It must be a total reshufflement from NNPC to Central Bank, so that at least this government will have a free flow in the economy.
Yeah, but what do you make of the negotiating power of this administration? You know, we have been seeing meetings held with aggrieved workers, and at the end of the meeting they call off strike, including that of the NLC. Beside the fact that court has said you cannot go on strike, but after that meeting with representative of the presidency, they said, okay, strike is suspended. What do you make of it? Are we? You are also part of the NLC. You are an affiliate of the NLC. Are you okay with the decision taken by the mother body?
Yes, I'm okay. You know, at all the time, strike, that's the last option. Because even in a normal sense, if you look at before even we resolved that we're going on total shutdown, we look at it, are you going on protest? No. Why? Because when we look at the terrain, that some are even planned to even hijack the protests. So if that should be the case, at all the time, we are a group of decent people. At all the time, we look at it holistically, digest it before we take a final decision. So based on that, then the government approach, and then they continue without relenting. They continue approaching, continue engaging in certain meeting. Our aims is not just to shut down the country. No, what we need is for the needful to be done. Because if without proper and adequate arrangement, we will be repeating. I think when President Muhammad Buhari came in power, we are even in the protest. Some even they are saying, no, allow the president to work, because this money has been increased, because there's a lot of things to put in place, because the people have accepted that the government are going to do the right thing. Do you have our refinery in place now? No, because no proper plan. And then the people that remain in that particular place, they are there. No reshufflement. So which doesn't allow the government to take a good step in a good time. So that's what we're saying. This government must look at it inward to make sure a total change, so that from now to another 2 years, we will not be repeating the same thing.
No, some even say 2 years is even too far. Why don't you allow him first 100 days, even with this subsidy removal, and see what the economy will look like? And they say, be patient. Why are you not patient?
Yeah, I think now the strike has been called off.
Yes.
So now, let's see.
In the next 100 days, let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Okay, with this removal of subsidy, and we know that prices of commodities and everything has increased, and you are a comrade, you are a representative of workers and Nigerians generally, let's just say. So how do you see this panning out in the livelihoods of Nigerians?
It's very terrible. It's very terrible. Because now, even when TUC present to increase of the minimum, has the minimum been increased? Even the 30,000 that we are earning for many years, many governors were still battling with them. They cannot pay 30,000. Like we don't have a law in the country.
So that means the 200,000 the TUC is demanding will be like
it's unrealistic.
When are they going to start paying?
But do you think Nigeria has the capacity to pay that?
How many billions has been siphoned?
Allegedly.
If you look at how many workers do we have, the money that has been siphoned for even a single person is even more than the salary of the entire workers for a year. If we are ready to pay, we can pay. There's no any amount that is too much for the Nigerian government. Just go to Niger. You cannot compare their salary with our salaries.
Niger?
Yes, just Niger here. That they used to have assistance from Nigerians. Their salary you cannot compare it with the salary of Nigeria. Why? So definitely the right of the people for them to have a good salary. That's why you even have people who will have the zeal to work, because they have been paid for their labor. Talk less of you go to foreign countries, that after taking care of your health, you have a steady power supply, you have everything. Then your salary, you take, so whatever amount that you can even buy and then they have a transport system that is not necessary that every time you must buy a foil. You can go by rail.
Okay, let's look at now that it looks like obviously this has come to stay for now. Let's just agree, because as at yesterday, Nigerians were hoping that the organized labor will go on strike, but with the news that we have now, every plan of
we have been persuaded to step.
Yes, and Nigerians will be wondering what was the level of persuasion, what must have happened behind these closed doors to warrant the suspension of the strike.
Oh, if you look at it, whatever we are doing, Nigeria first. Whatever we are doing, Nigeria first. That's the first thing. It's not matter of any arrangement of anything. Yeah, let me tell you, even at the beginning of this, they are even accusing the president of the NLC that is supporting Peter Obi. Is now want to punish the president. So if you look at it, you can't stop people. It's their right to say what they assume. But it's you as a leader, you know that what you are doing, whether you are doing right or you are doing wrong. If you know that what you are doing, you don't even listen to all those things. When we look at it, when I feel it, it's not the president that will just sit and take a decision. No. It must be a central working committee, that's CWC, and all the president of the almost 52 to 53 affiliates, they are members of central working committee. What they agree and adopt, that's why the president is going to present.
Okay, you are so sure of that?
Yes, I'm sure, because I'm part of it. I'm part of the meeting.
So why
and then all the presidents, they have. It's not all of us that were in the same political party, because it is your right to belong to the party of your choice. Many of them, they are in different categories. They support different presidential candidates. But when it comes to a labor matter, that one, politics apart. We are looking holistically to the development and progress of our nation. That's how we are.
You sound so sure that no matter what, there's not going to be, okay, oh, we agreed on this, so you didn't do it, because that's what we've been hearing in the past. So why do you think that it's going to be any different this time around?
Yeah, I pray that this present government are serious. That's my prayer. Because if they are serious in the sense of whatever they agree of labor, they are going to be implemented. That's why we are saying that labor should be part of the implementation. So that at all the time,
part of the decision.
So that at all the time we can be looking at the implementation policy.
So what you are saying now, if labor was part of that decision taken to say henceforth pump price ranges between 428 to 577, would that be okay?
No, it's not just part. It's not just part of. Because what we're saying, it's not just the increase of the price that's our problem. No. What is the sustainability of the economy if we are not refining our food?
Okay.
That's our main issue. To make sure that we are independent. We are not relying in importing, because whenever we are importing, our economy cannot be stable.
Yeah, but the issue is likened to, that's according to some school of thought, it's likened to when we usually queue, to make a phone call, where you have to go and buy a card from
those days.
and you slot it in, you dial, and then who is talking, you introduce yourself, all those, before we now have the GSM. And now with the GSM, when it started, to get a SIM, then it was about 7,000. Now SIM is almost free.
Even they understand that you are buying SIM 20,000.
Yes. No, at some point it was 35,000 MTN.
Yes, now it's free. You also have a situation at that time, you call per minute. It's per minute. Even if you do 2-3 seconds, 48 naira is gone. But because of the competition in the market, you now have a situation whereby we have you pay as you go. And today, that price war has pushed it down to about 11 naira per minute. I mean 6 naira, 6, 7 naira per minute, irrespective of the provider. So with this one, they're saying, just be patient. In the long run, it will be beneficial. In the long run, you're going to have people import because NNPC will no longer be the sole importer. If you can import at a lower cost and then lower landing cost, you are definitely going to sell also at a lower price. And the space also may be open not only for Dangote to set up a refinery, we can even revamp our own. Even you can also build. So be patient. So how do you appeal to workers, since you represent a chunk of them, to be patient in this?
Actually, workers are already patient because we don't have any option. And then Nigeria is our country.
Oh, good news.
What we are praying is for the best. But when you look at it, at all the time when we relay that they will import, after importing, it will come down. We are even deceiving ourselves. We must establish our refinery because they are all in the I don't think that if there is any country that they have an oil that they depend on importing their oil. No, it's only Nigeria. Why? We must change that narrative.
It's a good one. We must change that narrative. It's coming from Comrade Hamza Muhammad, the national president, Nigeria Union of Mines. Thank you so much for your time with us. So hope to bring you again. You know, our time is usually not too much because of there's so many persons lined up. So I'll say thank you and we hope to have you again.
Thank you. Happy to.
Yeah. So now let's go to our Benin Network studio where we have Philip.
Thank you, Joseph, and also big thanks, Charity. We really got to a point where we must interrogate the process, and the president, Tinubu, is a whole lot in terms of bringing respite to Nigerians. It depends on the decisions he will be taken. And prior to the election, he was already saying that, or even mentioned that tough decisions will basically come. But like you said, Joseph, in the discussion you had, and issues about how to get the landing cost cheaper, bring about competitiveness in the market. It's a whole long way that the government will need to interrogate. And at what price, what is the accessibility of the independent marketers to access the US dollars? The CBN will have to assist in that regard, and to take away the aspect of monopoly, not only the NNPCL will have accedian, while the other marketers, are only resting on the parallel markets for the US dollars. That will bring a whole lot of differences, which needs to be checked. So, all right, that's much we can take. Big thanks, Joseph.
All right, thank you so much, Philip.